Okay, so I am in a parking garage at the moment, but I wanted to film very quickly because it has been brought to my attention that every single individual has the ability to change their life fully. And I'm going to tell you how I did for me. I was so depressed, broke. I had no friends. I had a lot of trauma. And this was at the beginning of my spiritual awakening. And I healed myself from all of it, and I'm not gonna cry. It was a long journey, and I went very deeply into my own psyche. I spent a few years doing this, and I had no choice. I was very depressed to the point where, like, I couldn't find the reason to do anything. I would look at, like, these little things like nail polish and, like, makeup and, like, things that used to really interest me just lost all meaning to me. This was my freshman year of college, so I was 19. And to me, that was like, it was a huge shock because I had always struggled with depression. Even growing up, I had been depressed since I was 14. But this was like a new level of depression because I was battling depersonalization, which I had had before as well. But after my first year of college, it became a lot worse because I was in like a relationship that wasn't healthy for either of us. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was doing. Not just like with my life or like in college or in general. Like it was so deep to the point where like I didn't even know who I was. Like I had no identity. Like I was a shell of a person. I was partying. I think that is what caused me to like remove myself from myself. And it was to the point where nothing was interesting at all anymore. Like extremely depressed. And so I remember one time somebody told me that I needed to find God, and that was like the first time that I actually took it seriously and like considered it. And I was like, oh, maybe there's something for me there. I need help. Like I need spiritual help. Like my soul was crying for aid, for assistance, for understanding. I had been around shallow interactions for a very long time, like my entire life pretty much. I had been around partying for the past like year and a half. I was like drinking, I was like doing other stuff, and it was just like I was so lost, you know? And I couldn't see the point to anything anymore. And like what had been exciting for me at one point, like partying and being around other people and just like socializing all the time. I remember like being at some social interactions and just feeling like I was losing myself. Like I remember feeling like I was drowning. And this is what depersonalization will do to you. It's dissociation slash depersonalization. Like I just felt like people were saying words that like didn't mean anything. And I was like falling into this like tunnel of like not being able to escape. It's hard to explain. And like people would like talk to me, and like there was, to me, there was no emotion in them and there was no emotion in me. It's like everything was dead. I was dead to myself. And again, I had no identity. I had no idea who I was. And so that summer of 2017, somebody told me you should look for God. I was crying all the time. Me and my then significant other were fighting all the time, and like it was just not healthy. It was just a very unhealthy life I was living. I had no point to anything. Like there was no soul. So I looked for God within myself first. So I remember going on YouTube and like looking up like who is God and like what is God and like how do I meditate and like how to like basically looking at peace music and stuff, like music for peace and serenity. And like that is what kickstarted me to being able to actually connect with God. So I started meditating, and it was through meditation that I found myself, and it took years. Like what I can say though is that a lot of people don't question their own psychology. They don't question why they feel the way they feel. They don't actually like self-study, you know, to see why they may be depressed or anything like that. And I didn't have an option. I didn't have therapy. I didn't have medication. I didn't have any resources or support system. I had no friends that I could like relate to on a heart level. I just had friends for like partying essentially. And even if I did like want to get close to the people in my life, I was struggling so badly that I couldn't possibly get close to them, and I knew that like the help could not come from other people. Like I could feel it, you know. And my entire life, like I was very traumatized with like just my upbringing and stuff was like pretty difficult on me. And so I had no support system. So I practiced meditation, and that that is what, I'm not gonna cry, that is what showed me to myself. So I was able to see that God exists. God is always looking out for us, and God is real. And it was through meditation that I learned this. And then I found myself first. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I found God first as an energy, like as a universal energy. And then I was able to attach like an identification or a personification to him. And the personification that we attach to God can look different for everybody, but the energy is the same. So there is only one God. So then I found myself after I found God. And I was able to understand myself fully in relation to him. And it's like for the first time I knew who I was. And I went down this path of like deeply exploring myself and my own psyche, like I said. So lots of meditation, lots of like personal understanding, past life regressions, like things were shown to me. I was shown symbology, how to read symbology, how to look for like different signs and stuff like that and interpret them. I went through multiple like mystery schools, if you know what that is, multiple dark nights of the soul. So like this continued for many years, and my journey was very hard, because in order to like keep going, you have to like pass tests, and that's never fun or easy. Once you say yes to this path and you commit, there's no saying no. Even if you want to go back to living normally, wherein your pineal is like closed and like your chakras are like unawakened and stuff, and your kundalini is still coiled at the base of the spine, like you can't go back, because all that chemical change has already happened. So I was kind of like, at some points, like I tried to go back, like I tried to like turn off, close off, forget, unlearn, go back to living normally, like numb out all of the understanding with like partying and whatever. And that didn't feel good for me. And then I noticed that even when I did try to go back, still like I was subconsciously using my experiences to grow. So it was a lot of growth. There was no way to say no to growth, and eventually things fell from me, things fell off from me. As much as I tried to resist change, and as much as I tried to resist things leaving from me, they did leave. Like habits, people, places, a lot of things were stripped from me. And the reason why is because like I said yes, you know. So like once you say yes to your process, again, like you can't say no. And I said yes, not just once, but like many times. And essentially like I realized that God creator is the only help that we need, and he will come in the form of people to help us as well, in the form of places, animals, situations, jobs, health, color, a frequency, opportunity, ideas, creativity, business, if we're open. So if we're aligned with him, he will work through us and for us. And so there's really no other help that we need. There's no other support that like we need. And I know that in 2025, like, you know, you hear that you need so many things. You need a support system, you need a social life, you need like all these things, right? You need medication, therapy. I'm very good at giving unpopular opinions, so I will give you one. You don't need anything other than God. You don't need anything other than God. I managed to find myself, create businesses, like do everything. So I was able to heal myself, and then all the way up so much more just with God. And God will give you the support system that you need. He'll give you therapy. He'll give you medication if you need it. Like, and you'll find the best stuff for you. It's about intuitively attracting certain things to you, but you don't have to do it yourself. Like, you just have to tap into this primordial energy, and it'll do everything for you. And this is not religious. This is not just spiritual, because there's no such thing as spirituality, babes. Like, there's no such thing as spirituality. The whole world is spiritual. Our life is spiritual. We are spiritual beings. Just like there's no such thing as materialism. How can you draw a line between these things? Everything is spiritual in nature, and everything is energy. So pay attention. The people in your life will cause certain other things to happen in your life because their energy is infused with yours, right? So pay attention to what energy people bring when they come into your life. Pay attention to the energy of objects. All objects hold a certain energy. Pay attention to the energy of animals. Pets are karma. When you adopt certain pets, you are inviting, that's Rahu. Like you okay, so study how everything connects to everything else. And you know, those who were seen dancing were called crazy by others who could not hear the music. So just understand that, like, a lot of people are shut down. Their systems are not online. They're not awakened. They're not aware. They're not paying attention to their life. But if you self-study, meaning you study your inner ecosystem and you study your life, your outer ecosystem, you'll understand the connection between the two, and you'll be able to notice patterns that are happening all of the time, constantly. Like, let's say, like, we know who's good for us and who's bad for us. Like, let's say you have a friend in your life. You'll be able to tell how your energies mesh together, especially if you take some time away from them. You'll be able to see, okay, this person is good for me energetically, or okay, this person is not good for me energetically. So when we focus on what is really happening, and we don't distract ourselves by entertainment, music, noise, you know, that's why having a meditation practice is so important. But when we focus on our life and the patterns that are happening, we can cut certain things out and replace them with certain other things. And this is what it means to run your life like a business. You are the sole decider of your entire life. All of the responsibilities on you for what you are going to build here for yourself and others. So how are you spending your time? How are you spending your time? I know that I may be an extremist in this regard, but like personally, I do not do certain things that are sunk costs in regards to my time or money. So I won't spend money on things that are a sunk cost. I will spend money on things that reinvest back into myself because I am my business, you know. So I don't know, stupid example, I'll buy a pink sweater because it infuses my energy, and I won't buy like a black one because I don't vibe with that as well. I'm very particular with everything. Fashion is like the last expression of like personality, you know. And so to me, it's so important. Everything is so important, you know. And so when you can be very detail oriented with your life, you will see great results. And in the same way, like, I don't spend my time, so I mentioned money right now, I don't spend my time on things that are sunk costs. So I won't go like spending my time like doing something that is going to drain my energy, because my energy is my currency. So I'm going to cultivate my energy and use that towards my business, use that towards my purpose, use that towards my passion. I'm not going to go spend my energy somewhere that it's going to be depleted. So like seeing someone that's going to deplete my energy, or drinking, which is going to deplete my energy, or, you know. And I've become more intentional with the way that I live as I've grown. And this is what I can tell you. It's important, and it's important because it works. When you are younger, You just spend your time and your energy doing whatever because you don't realize that everything has an effect. Every cause has an effect. Every action has a reaction. This is known as karma, very simply put. But this is why I'm celibate. I've talked about celibacy in another video because to me it is another way to preserve and conserve. So when you conserve energy, it grows. You become very energetically powerful. You can manifest things quickly, both positive and negatively, so it's important to streamline your focus as well. That's why meditation, again, is everything. Meditation is another way, it's another practice for energy cultivation. So these are just some tips I can tell you that I've learned through my process of self-evolution and through my spiritual awakening journey, which is constant, of course. And you know, connecting to God and prayer, it could heal you of any physical ailment. Like, guys, again, everything is spiritual. The body is not just material. It is housing spiritual energy. So the spirit soul affects the body. My body changed when I went through a spiritual awakening. My skin tone changed. My skin texture changed. Like, my hair texture changed. It's just like, my aesthetic changed. My eye for things changed. And of course, like, I do believe that globally we are going through a mass consciousness awakening just because of the amount of information that is out there and the way that people are using this information. But I do want to say that there's also something known as a false awakening, wherein you use, well, you are essentially under the impression that you are going through an awakening, but you're not, because the soul is not evolving. So you're just, again, using another band-aid, like a different type of band-aid, to mask your trauma. True spiritual evolution is healing of any outstanding trauma within the soul, not just the body, but the soul, which will heal all else as well. This means healing past life trauma, healing trauma that is housed within the soul. A lot of people are split. Their souls are split. Again, they're not online. They're not awake. And my job is to tell you these things so you can seek to be awakened. Yes, you'll become more sensitive in the process. Yes, you'll become more in tune to yourself and your surroundings as well. Yes, you'll become more emotional and emotionally aware and emotionally intelligent. That's the point. And then if you want to numb yourself with things, like, you always have that option, but there's never going back when it comes to soul expansion, which is amazing. Like, I have certain indulgences that I love. Like, for example, you know, I've made like my purpose indulgent for me. So filming videos is like an indulgence for me. I also do enjoy like simple things, and I indulge in those things. Meditation, like, the things that help me have turned into my form of like indulging, which, because I've been on this path for a very, very long time. Like, it's been over like 10 years now, about almost 10 years. But of course it's not gonna, you know, be that way for someone who's just starting out. If you are just starting out, I'd recommend meditation. If you were so down bad like I was, and you are depressed, and you face depersonalization, or you're in a toxic relationship, or whatever it is, my advice to you would be to shut down all noise and to meditate, like in silence. Or if you need music to start, just look up on YouTube, type this in, look up relaxing flute music, Buddha's flute, and that's it. Like, it'll awaken you, it'll bring you back to who you are, and it'll be the beginning of your journey. And I understand that not everybody has the DNA to tap into God and all that stuff. Like, we're all made very differently. We all have a different path and a different karma. But all I can do is implore you, beg you to try, because I want you to be happy on the inside. And one thing that I learned in my journey is that human beings need joy. They need real joy, and it's found within. And I also learned that every human being has to be happy. Like, they were not put on this planet to suffer. They were put here to learn their lessons, to hurry up and learn their lessons properly so that they can find true happiness, true joy, which is spiritual in nature. So that's my advice to you. I really recommend you try what I'm telling you to do, because it can change your life. It can awaken you to yourself and make you realize certain things and change your life completely. I changed my life completely. I became a new person a few times over through this process. I started a few businesses. I made more coin. I made new friends, and I moved. Like, I invited like new manifestations in. I maybe even invented some stuff on the way, videos and whatnot, and like little things that I do. So yeah, my advice to you would be to have a meditation practice and try that starting today, starting right now after watching this video. I love you unconditionally, and I hope that you follow what I'm saying and you take my advice. Okay, so thank you for watching. I love you. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything that you found valuable, subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one.